Grab some tissues, and let us dive into the final chapter of Young Royals. The series finale takes us back to Hillerska, where a sad and teary Wilhelm tells Felice about his breakup. On the other hand, Simon is back home, crying in his bed. We are crying, too, but like Felice, we all want the answer to one crucial question: is it really over? Wilhelm thinks it is and feels like he can understand Simon's decision. He tells Felice that the young lad is right, he has to figure out his issues independently. The next day, Simon opts to skip school, and Sarah tries to cheer him up. They spot their dad's car outside and find a note from their old man on the windshield. Out of guilt, he is leaving the car in Sarah's possession. Simon is disappointed in their dad, saying Sarah was right about him. However, Sarah responds that he is right and brave for giving people a second chance. Seeing her children interact peacefully again gives their mom hope they will be fine. Later, Sarah heads to school, but the lessons are interrupted. The teacher explains that the Board of Education has decided to ban Hillerska from operating. What happens after the ban? The teacher informs the students to return to their dorms for more information. Vincent loses it and blames Wilhelm for destroying Hillerska with his speech. The other students start to argue, blaming each other. Felice gets the brunt of it from her friends, who are sure she is to blame. Things get tense as everyone starts shouting over each other. August has enough of it and shuts everyone up. He is sad that it is over and asks his fellow students to stop blaming each other. August breaks down, and the other students start apologizing to each other. The housemistress walks in and explains the school has been allowed to stay open until the end of the term. She asks the students to prepare to leave for good and say their goodbyes. As expected, everyone is sad, crying and comforting each other. Most students call their parents and update them on the situation. Sarah heads home and listens to the news about the school with Simon and his friends. They discuss what the school closure could mean for them. Sarah and Simon think it is an opportunity for a fresh start. They entertain thoughts of leaving Jarstad and moving to Gothenburg. Rosh and Ayub think Simon is running from Wilhelm and urge him to stay. However, Simon says Jarstad reminds him too much of Wilhelm. Speaking of Wilhelm, the royal court assures him they already have a backup plan. He learns his mom's health has been the priority as it has been plummeting. He is not sure his parents will come to the closing ceremony. How are the other students dealing with the ban? Meanwhile, the other students, particularly Vincent and Nils, convince August to help them throw one last party. A final hooray to end their life at Hillerska. Initially, August is hesitant and shares that he can't get into trouble since he is Wilhelm's royal backup. His two friends laugh at him, saying the royal family now owns him. According to them, August had the perfect role, he had all the privileges without working for it. They pity him since he will have to take the burden of being in the royal family. Ultimately, the students decide to have an all-white party. At the same time, Wilhelm runs into Simon in the library. He is unable to say much as Henry interrupts them, and Simon quickly leaves. He says he is unsure about making it to the party, so Wilhelm returns to his room. Thankfully, Felice talks him into joining the party, and Wilhelm strikes a deal with his bodyguards. Ayub and Rosh also convince Simon to attend the party, citing it might be the last time he will see Wilhelm. They ask him to go and find closure and offer to accompany him. What happens at the party? The party allows most of our characters to make up. First, Sarah and Felice hush up their differences. They admit they missed each other, and Felice comes clean to Sarah about what she said to the school inspectors. It turns out Felice sang like the canary and revealed everything. Sarah says it is okay as she didn't lie. She acknowledges she likes August but values her relationship with Felice more. Later, Sarah dumps August. August didn't see it coming, and Sarah was unapologetically savage about it. On the other hand, Wilhelm and August apologize to each other. Wilhelm is sorry that August underwent a traumatic initiation under Eric and his buddies. August is sorry about the video and everything that unfolded. He assures Wilhelm that Eric would love him even if he is gay. These words mean a lot to Wilhelm. It was what he needed to hear. By the end of the night, it looks like their relationship is on the mend, but there is still a long way to go. Later, after stealing glances at each other throughout the night, Simon approaches Wilhelm. He asks Wilhelm to give him one last night where they don't have to think about anything but themselves. They leave the party and head to the river. Here, they talk about their breakup. Wilhelm has a hard time understanding why they have to break up. Wilhelm still wants to fight for their relationship. He asks if Simon is over him, and they skin dip. What happens after the party? The next day, the students start packing. Meanwhile, Frederica and Stella finally get into a relationship. On the other hand, Simon finishes his revolution song and sends it to Wilhelm as a belated birthday present. It is a sad but meaningful song. Omar has the voice of an angel and relays emotions very well. Later, the school holds its last graduation, and the headmistress announces they will try to appeal the education board's decision. The choir sings the Hillerska song for the last time, and Simon is surprised when they decide to sing his version. What happens after graduation? After graduation, the parents start trickling in to pick up their kids. Wilhelm is surprised to see his parents. His mom apologizes for abandoning him when he needed her the most. She promises to do better and says she has sought help for her depression. Wilhelm is touched but distracted by Simon's departure. As his parents congratulate August, Wilhelm runs after Simon and thanks him for the song. They discuss the end of their relationship, and Wilhelm says it was all in vain. However, Simon denies this. He explains that he never gave up on them, only the royal family. They wish each other a happy summer holiday, and Simon walks away. Elsewhere, Felice decides to skip the New York trip with her friends and hang out with Sarah. They don't have a definitive plan, but she gets in Sarah's car either way. Felice says it is easy to be with Sarah as she never judges her. To Felice, Sarah is a good friend she doesn't want to lose. How does Young Royals end? Wilhelm goes back to his parents, and the Queen mentions what a great king Wilhelm will be someday. However, Wilhelm calmly explains he doesn't want to be the king. It is not a path he wants to choose. Wilhelm says the issue has always been the role of the crown prince. He says it doesn't make him feel good. The Queen says he should take his time. She thinks Simon is the catalyst of all these. However, Wilhelm is clear he never wanted the throne to begin with. He asks his parents to consider August as the next in line. After this calm and honest conversation, Wilhelm leaves with the Queen's blessing. August sees him leaving the car and instinctively realizes what this means for him. Wilhelm chases after Sarah's car, and once it finally stops, Simon alights. Wilhelm explains that he has just abdicated, and Simon asks if he did it for him. Wilhelm is adamant that he did it for himself. He asks if Simon is genuinely over him, and of course, he is not. They warmly embrace, confess their love, and kiss as we travel back through different scenes, rehashing their love story. The show ends with the four, Wilhelm, Simon, Sarah, and Felice driving off happily. The episode review. Give us a moment, we need to calm the whirlwind of emotions this episode gave us. Honestly, episode 5 nearly broke us, and we didn't think we would get a happy ending. It all seems too bleak or impossible, but what is love without the belief in possibilities? One of the main issues in their relationship was Wilhelm's responsibility to the monarchy. Wilhelm didn't want to be king, and after his brother died, he felt like he had no choice. Meeting Simon gave Wilhelm the courage to leave. Sometimes, love does that. It gives us the courage to find our freedom. Many people might not resonate with Wilhelm's decision to abdicate, but I think it is brave. However, it is doubtful that August will make a great king. August showed some growth this season, but it was not convincing enough. He still has a long way to go. Unfortunately, since this is the last episode of the series, we will never know what kind of king he turns out to be. Sarah made the right decision to dump August. She needed to distance herself from him. Felice also bravely decided to be honest with the school inspectors and stay back with Sarah. That's it, guys. Young Royals takes a graceful bow as the curtains close. Let us know what you thought about this final. Did it meet your expectations? We look forward to reading your comments.